First of all, I'd like to just show you a bit of a thought starter. Let's proceed with a short video.
German engineering is here. The new Volkswagen Vento built with great care and highly innovative features. Best-in-class German engineering is here.
A talking newspaper woke up 25 lakh readers of the Times of India across metros today.
I think it was great because I probably went to the last page for the first time before reading the headline.
They open the newspaper, they are forced to hear what they say.
Volkswagen has done it again. The German automaker, which has been making a lot of media noise, has managed to get everyone talking with this new campaign.
It's hard to let it go. Volkswagen, das Auto.
So how was that for a thought starter at the start of the day 3? First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for having us here. It's an honor to meet up with the powers that be. In terms of the entirety of the medium, the entire spectrum of stakeholders in the medium. In fact, when I spoke to Selva yesterday about how long should I present and how long can I present, he told me you can present as long as you like, but most of our audience will leave for tea in about 20 minutes after you are done. So as a result, I had to ensure that there is brevity. But hopefully we'll be able to present to you some of our take on innovation, what we think has been the kind of benchmark innovations that have happened in the recent past, and a few pointers about what could be the learning in terms of the process of media innovation and how that can make print even more relevant to advertisers and to consumers. So with that, you just saw a short video, which was not done by my agency, by the way, on the Volkswagen Vento, and that did quite well, actually. You just saw that. Now the point is, when we think in terms of extraordinary advertising and the extraordinary innovations in print, what were the big ones? What made news this year is inherently subjective. What are the really good ones that have happened in the recent past? So I thought that rather than myself pontificating, because I have a podium, so anybody with a mic can say, oh, these were the best things that happened and this is why I think that this is why these are the best. So I'd rather say that let's do some crowdsourcing. Rather than a person from Madison Media coming in and telling you what were the best print innovations, we thought that let's actually look at the entire pool of shortlisted entries and amongst them select the ones which really won a few awards and which we know from various sources in the market have done well for the clients as well as made a disproportionate impact. So I'm just showing you a few shortlists and a few pointers after that of the winners and the shortlisted entries at the MVs. Now, you know, the MVs is really the kind of a Cannes for the media business. And since most of us can't, with our salaries, can't afford to send a lot of our people to the south of France every year, so we pretend that we are having that kind of a jamboree in Bombay. But that event concluded only about 2-3 weeks back, so it's fresh off the press for us as well. So with that, the first one that you just saw, okay, by the way, just a short note, the entries that I'm about to show you and the learning about innovation are not our own biases. We are very thankful for other agencies, MediaCom, Media at CIA, Lodestar, and of course my agency, Madison Media, for sharing their entries and their thought process with us, and we confabulated with them before I came here as to what exactly should be a kind of an industry message that we could share with you. So the Volkswagen Vento was done by MediaCom, you just saw them. They actually won the gold for the most innovative use of print just a couple of weeks back. But they were not the only ones to have won the gold. There were 2 golds awarded, and this is pretty rare occurrence that in a year the judges are split, and not only are they are split positively. It's not that, one versus the other. They said that even the other entry was pretty apparent and pretty spectacular in terms of the use of print. So if you would allow me, I'd just share a short video about that too. But I think it's even very, it's not really the usage of a newspaper, so I've taken a little bit of a liberty. I'm about to share with you an entry for the innovative use of a magazine. But the point is, it's not newspaper versus magazine which is the big deal. It is the fact that at the client as well as at the agency level, an out-of-the-box thinking happened based upon a real problem in terms of reaching out to consumers. So if you just allow me, I'll just share with you another short video, and it should be self-explanatory, but I'll share with you some specific thoughts after that.
Last August, Parachute Advanced launched a hair oil to control hair fall, targeting women in the state of Tamil Nadu. 58% of women suffer from hair fall in Tamil Nadu. Hair fall is big business, a fortress with over 100+ brands, almost impossible to penetrate. To compound problems, Parachute Advanced had a low market share against the likes of Ashwini and Dharitri, which accounted for 90% of sales. In a mature hair care market, where multiple brands from shampoos to oils spoke the language of hair fall, some made tall claims, some just did not work. The result? Confused consumers became cynical, no longer trusting advertising on face value. In such a strong context of skepticism, more than any brand claims, consumers trust their friends and other real consumers who might have actually used the product and have found it to be effective. Outshouting on TV was not the solution to demonstrate product effectiveness and hence break cynicism. The task: how could we get into her intimate circle of trust? We had a little insight into her life. During problems like hair fall, she turns to friends for advice and trusts them blindly. Could we actually get her friend to recommend the brand? Sounds simple when there's a medium like Facebook, right? But these were consumers who barely even knew what the internet is. We knew that personal recommendation is the most effective form of advertising. Hence, we selected the most popular magazine she read. With every copy, instead of a traditional print ad, we inserted a pre-addressed envelope and a sample bottle. Women were invited to try the product and, if satisfied, use the envelope to write their recommendation to a friend and post it to us. We then sent her friend the personally handwritten recommendation letter, a small touch that added tremendous credibility to the brand. Along with it, a bottle of oil. We sent 2 more envelopes to further build a chain of recommendation. Postcards became social media portals, sparking a viral word-of-mouth movement amongst thousands of women. Yes, the brand had entered her circle of trust through her friend. But that's not all. A print campaign utilizing these real recommendations also went live to further build credibility. 1,20,966 recommendations in just 3 months, resulting in a whopping 28.6% trial to recommendation ratio. Market share zoomed in just 3 months. Chennai, the state's largest city, touched an incredible 25% share. Awareness zoomed to 73%. Scores on recommended by actual hair fall sufferers moved from 0 to 65% within 3 months. This is the first instance in the FMCG industry where the mechanism of personal recommendation, which was apt for social media, was applied to print via a business reply envelope mechanism. The consumer's personal credibility supersedes everything that the brand can share, leading to stronger trials for the brand. Some consumers' actual verbatim reinforce this. Was pleasantly surprised to receive a free sample with my friend's message in her own handwriting. This should be true. The minute I received your sample, I telephoned my friend who had recommended this to me to thank her. Thank you, Parachute Advanced Ayurvedic, for giving this opportunity to me. Never thought that I would be part of a campaign. There are so many brands who talk this, but you have actually invited us to come over. Thank you. The brand had triggered an unending social viral, turning print into social media.
A double thank you to all those who clapped, because this was actually from our agency, and I know personally the kinds of issues that were there. But really the point of showcasing this was that when you think laterally, the important thing was to look at the learning from one medium and how transferable they can be into another. And I think that print really allows us a platform to be able to earn the consumer's credibility, which these guys demonstrated quite ably. In fact, now let me proceed from here. Okay. Now I'm thankful to another agency of ours called another agency in the media firmament called Lodestar Universal, for sharing with us and allowing us to showcase their case of a Take Care, Take Charge, the TCTC campaign as it is known internally, for Garnier and the Times of India. This entry did us proud as an industry and as a country. It won the Gold Lion at Cannes Festival this year. It has also won another award. It has won a Bronze MVs last week, and it's quite self-explanatory in its way. But let me just take you through their thinking and then a short video about what exactly is the big innovation here. So the point is, this entry is actually about creating the world's first 100% recycled newspaper. The background to this was that Garnier is a youth brand. It is a brand which is not nascent anymore in India. It has been here for a while, but not really amongst the legacy brands. So it's really targeted at the youth with a proposition of take care. And that take care has multiple dimensions. There's take care of yourself, take care of others, take care of the environment. In the spirit of take care, Garnier had undertaken a few environment-friendly product initiatives. But none of them were actually involving to the core audience, which was the youth. It's one thing to claim a bit of environment friendliness, and the other one is to actually engage and to demonstrate that. So the insight that was found was that the youth are willing to participate, to take charge, and to give back something to the world. But they demand results. Attention spans are narrow, and it's a competitive fight for getting their attention for a great period of time. Now the challenge was to come up with a concept on recycling which showed an immediate result and can be done on a mass scale. There's no point in doing something which is really done and which becomes a niche in one particular outlet in one particular city. Can it transcend the barriers of scale as well as appeal? Now doing this on print was doubly challenging because print by its nature depends upon newspaper consumption, and consequently there are issues of deforestation, and a lot of the environment friendly people abroad say that, would we be better off reading it virtually, but that consumes electricity, what are the other issues, etc., etc. Now the breakthrough was, along with the world's largest circulated English daily, the fact was that it was found that they needed to use 50 tons of paper every day. The idea was to convince them to print the entire newspaper on 100% recycled newspaper. If that were done, then for every edition and every day that this was done, a demonstrable saving of 1,200 trees would be achieved. But the process had to involve, engage the youth, and demonstrate results. It couldn't be just a passive activity on the part of the brand, and then you really end up ambushing the customer saying, this is what we've done. So the process involved such that youth were invited to contribute an idea. For every idea received, Garnier would pick up a certain quantity of used newsprint, which would be then sent for recycling. So therefore, a critical mass of ideas had to develop in order for the idea to come to fruition. This used newspaper was handed over to the Times of India group to create the world's first and largest 100% recycled newspaper. So now let me just take you through.
It's time to take care, take charge.
The fourth entry that I'd like to showcase to you is for Safola, Young at Heart. And this was an activity that was called Dil To Bacha Hai Ji. We are young at heart. For those who may not know about this particular brand, and those who have not from the Indian space, Safola is positioned as the healthier cooking oil. And the fact that the Safola brand has a lineup of heart-friendly oils, that has been its consistent position for a long while. So without any preamble, let me just take you through the entry and the thought process on this one.
My papa says that India is a young country. But are our hearts young too? Doctor Uncle says that lots of people's hearts are not okay. people are not worried about their heart. So, the people at Saffola wanted every Indian to take care of their heart so that India becomes a healthy country. Our heart has an age and we behave according to our heart's age. With this idea, Saffola launched the Young at Heart program. Sometimes big people too need surprises to understand. The Times of India, one of the oldest newspapers in India, joined Saffola's hands in this cause and decided to show its heart's age to people on 25th September 2010. The previous night, the uncles and aunties at the newspaper used crayons instead of the pen. Each headline and photo was done just like I would do. But it was not easy because every city people get different newspapers and there was very little time to do just like exams. The next morning, everyone was surprised. One of the oldest newspapers had become young at heart. Smiled and enjoyed their morning newspaper. But they also realized that even their heart has an age and they should keep it young. The results A+.
So that was from Saffola. In fact, now let me take you through a very interesting work done by Colgate. This information comes to us courtesy from our sister, from another agency called MEC. They are Colgate's agency for a long while, and they've done some very, very innovative work last year in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And in fact, I'll just tell you something else about that after you see the video. So let's look at the Colgate video. Where is the Colgate video? Okay. So you saw that, the whole innovation of a night newspaper, lateral thinking. In fact, we have it that the client is quite pleased with it, and they're probably going to ramp this up into a few other markets as well. So it seemed, again, an innovative use of the timing of the newspaper, rather than the utility or anything else. And the whole logistical nightmare aside, the fact was that there was an out-of-the-box thinking in terms of what the newspaper is for, and can it lead to the fulfillment of a brand objective. So, just give me a second, I'll put this back on full screen. So the point is, you might have noticed that 4 out of the 5 cases that I just shared with you belong to the FMCG category. And there's only one who are considered, one of the traditional bastions of print advertising, the kind of a auto brand which tend to use print quite a lot. Now this should give the lie to that stereotyped thinking amongst various quarters in the industry, that maybe FMCG and print don't mix so well together. The point is, it's not that FMCG and print don't work well together, it's the fact that the hidebound and stereotyped thinking does not work well along with the diktats and the commitments and the timelines and the deadlines of print. So as long as you're open to try out new things, both at the brand level as well as at the publication level, a lot more can be done. And these are just a few cases that we as an industry found suitable to showcase onto you. In fact, I was part of the judging team in another category, and I think in this particular category we got almost 6 dozen entries, and out of which most of them were of a very high caliber. So a lot more can be done that we can think of. However, now moving on from these specifics towards a few observations about the whole process of innovation, I'd like to take another 10 minutes from this audience. The whole question is, what makes extraordinary innovations happen? Ideas happen all the time. Bringing them to fruition requires a bit of a process, requires a bit of a discipline as well. And so now I would now like to share with you my own experiences as well as the experiences that we've had in our own agency in terms of what are the impediments as well as the helpers of the process of innovations. So from an agency point of view, first of all, what you really need is a work discipline. And this goes without saying. It's not that we are indisciplined generally, but it's just that we need to have a more hardwired process of innovation. For example, in Madison, we follow the whole concept of an innovation brief. Typically at the start of every year, certain targets for media are set, certain media mix allocations are done, and certain brand objectives are told to us. Now, within some of those, I've actually showcased with you 5 different types of brand objectives. Each of those brand objectives is likely to have a concomitant print media innovation solution. Now, it really requires a kind of a triumvirate of the brand manager, the creative agency, as well as the media partners to bring it together in terms of, to create it happen. As you would see, this kind of an innovation brief needs to be signed off by 3 separate sets of people. And then we need the cooperation from the media owners. So first thing is that in terms of an innovation process, what is required is a kind of a planned work, that innovations cannot happen just ad hoc. If you want to do a talking newspaper, the whole logistical process will require a certain degree of commitment and alignment, and that can be brought about only if there is an institutional process to back it. So that's the first point. So now let's move on. The second one is in terms of looking at a win-win partnership, because typically innovation would not be a kind of a thing that we can do as a one-trick pony, or only as a fair weather friend, or where sometimes media partners have this issue with the agencies that we only propose and nothing happens, or you propose but we can't respond to you within a certain time, etc. A win-win partnership has to be such where the brand the media owner as well as the agency gets the payoff from that innovation, whatever that payoff may be, whether it is monetary, whether it is in terms of buzz created around the brand, whether it is the solution of a brand's problem, that has to be defined, codified, and have alignment around. That's the second one. The third one is in terms of a long-term planning. And the whole issue is, since innovations cannot happen in a physical medium overnight, this is not digital. This is not requiring a quick shift of a script and then swapping of two different brands, and you can make it live in a shorter turnaround time. It requires a degree of the big picture thinking married with the logistics of the business. For example, if you want to reinterpret the headline from the point of view of a child, then you have to bring in so many resources together. You have to bring in the editorial teams, you have to bring in the brand team, you have to bring in the media partners, and work around the deadlines. And this requires a bit of yin and yang. The fourth one is in terms of timing. The whole issue is, when do we discuss, as a media agency, when do we discuss the whole concept of innovations? Do we discuss these as part of an annual nego? And at the start of a year, it's pretty much known, these are the kinds of markets that we are really looking at. Is that not a good time? But then at that time, in the middle of the year, personnel change. In the middle of the year, maybe a new technology comes, maybe multi-edition, something else can happen. But it requires from the agency a sensitive eye to be able to look at, these are the kind of publications and these are the kind of things that we can at least attempt with them. And let's bring this up to the table, whether in April or whether in December or whether on an ad hoc basis, is really dependent upon the agency and the brand dynamic. But I think that the timing has to be worked out. Oh, sorry. The next one is actually about monies, and that really is the media agency's responsibility to ensure that part of our job is to get the client to keep aside a part of the budget for a defined innovation target. Whatever that innovation target is, it has to be defined. Typically an innovation should not just be killed on the basis of the no men. There are some yes men, and then there are sometimes people who start saying, oh, this can't happen, or this can't happen for so many reasons. The whole question of why versus why not has to be placed. And then with the client relationships that we sometimes have, we have to be able to get them to set aside a certain part of the budget for doing something which would go beyond the ordinary. And that's really one critical factor that will keep it. And linked to that is the KRA. Because typically, a lot of the brand managers, a lot of the purchase managers in agencies can easily deduce a currency or a metric like circulation, like, front page Solus has a certain premium over any other, right-hand page has something versus left-hand page. But the whole point is that the KRA of an innovation may sometimes transcend that. They might cost higher on a unit cost, but what is the other delivery and how do you cost for that is, therefore points 5 and 6 are really linked together. And really it's our job to work along with the clients, and then to even seek from the media partners further substantiation as to what else can we do, what are the other value adds that can be added onto that. The seventh one is in terms of breaking the rules. You've got to first follow them, but at a certain stage, it becomes interesting to start with what is required for the brand, rather than asking what is required for the plan. Sometimes we as agency owners become very, very enmeshed in our own product, and we start looking at, oh, this is my plan, and this is how I've optimized it, and this is it. So we tend to showcase it a bit more. But the other one is, what is required for the brand? And sometimes the other question has to be asked, what is possible with this media? Or what is possible with this media owner? If the thinking was only what is possible with print, then at least 4 out of those 5 would not have happened last year. So the breaking of the rule, what else can the medium do? Can we make it talk? Can we make it sing? Now, in fact, after the Volkswagen Vento, people were asking, oh, next year what will you do now? You'll probably put up a a photo frame, or you'll put up a little bit of a video inside a newspaper or what. But hey, why not? But the whole question is, you got to understand the importance of the medium and some of the other side benefits of it, and then to figure out how can we transcend what is possible. The eighth one is obviously teamwork. It's much alluded to, difficult to put it in practice, which is that the fact is that ideas can come from anywhere. In fact, I personally make it a point to meet with most of the media owner representatives that come calling, because this dynamic, this interaction is the thing that keeps us fresh. We can sometimes challenge a media owner into saying, listen, this is what is happening. X and Y went to Cannes and they found that these are the new things that have happened in print. Versus sometimes even the media owners can come to us and say, this is what is possible. Would you like to try it? So the triumvirate between the brand, between the media owner and between the media agency has to have a bit of a more collaborative working. Typically, I see a very transactional relationship in terms of media and agency interactions that sometimes happen, and that impedes innovation. The ninth one is a kind of an openness of the mind. You got to have a light touch. You got to try something, even if it sounds outlandish and silly, or if it sounds too small. Even if you want to just do a small supplement and you want to do something different for each supplement or in each city or in each part of the city, whether it's too big or whether it's too small, you got to have a degree of saying, why not let's take a punt on that. The English have a very interesting word for it. They say, let's take a flutter. So I think that in our interactions with print, a lot of the discussions are very, very formal, very stylized. The discussion template is set. These are the number of editions, these are the number of people, this is the circulation, this is the price, these are the value adds, these are the innovations. So why not take a flutter? What else can we do? Let's have a brainstorm. Let's have a coffee or beer or whatever catches people's fancy. And let's discuss what are the other things that can happen. So the open mind and teamwork, again, are a bit of, conjoined twins. And the last one is, I think it gets a bit of a short shrift. In fact, it is still point number 10 in my slide, is that we got to develop a perspective. Typically, I have taken it upon myself in my agency that we will have an intellectual position of strength. How can we use differential media for differential impact? How can we use one kind of innovation versus something else? But we got to do a little bit of consumer work. We got to do a little bit of maybe dealer work, or along with the brand, got to realize that if this was the innovation, what were the obvious benefits and what were the other things that came out? Because a lot of the substantiations that you would have seen in some of the videos were actually such that they were built into the innovation. After the innovation in the brand track, it was asked for Saffola. Print as a source of information about the brand. That score went up from 4% to 23%. Now that score would not have been captured had the innovation not been planned like that and the research been planned along with the innovation. So on that, I think that, so these are really in terms of the 10 mantras from an agency point of view that we think are the things that really lubricate the process of innovation. And the last one is actually, as I just said, it's try it again. I mean, if something works, make it happen. If something doesn't work, try it again. Go back to the client, and we tend to sometimes get deflated because of that. And I think that I would call upon the newspaper representatives here to make this a kind of an additional. Don't make it a KRA for your media sales team, but have an orientation towards this. So you propose something like this. So as they say, no good deed should go unpunished. So no good idea should go unrecycled. So if you presented something in January and it was not bought then, there's nothing that harms you, that harms representing it later, or saying that, if this is the kind of an objective, then maybe for this is the kind of an innovation solution that we can bring to the table. So that's that. Now coming to your point of view, and this is, I'm being slightly pompous perhaps, I'm trying to back calculate what may be the processes or the issues that could bring about innovations or which you could help in terms of bringing more innovations to the party? Okay. First one is in terms of a speed of response. This is a kind of a feedback that we've received often, that from my teams, I've said, why can't we use magazines for a juice brand that we handle? Or if we are using so much of the internet, then the internet reach isn't so much, then why don't we do this or that? They say, oh no, it was presented, but that publication is historically known to be not so proactive. So the first one is in terms of a speed of response, and that I think typically what happens is, in the media business, we don't work on just in time. We work somehow in time, SHIT. So typically the client deadlines on presentation of a media plan are unreasonable, and we try to do the best we have. And we also have a slightly arrogance and overconfidence in our ability to get things done, because most of our data sets reside within the agency. So a person who has some degree of, who's somewhat numerate and has good skill, can quickly churn out a plan. Now, he can churn out a plan, but the entire process of navigating the media owner's hierarchy might take longer than that. So the media seller vice president cannot revert within the first couple of days, because in his agency, in his organization, it takes a bit longer. There's the brand team, there's the editorial team, there are various other people. So can there be a kind of an empowered group of ministers within the media, within the newspaper, that can quickly take a go, no go kind of a call? The commercials can be worked out, but hey, this is possible, this is not possible. We'd really appreciate that, honestly. The second one is, as I just said, an open mind. The open mind is about, karke dekhte hain. Let's try it out. Okay, let's try it out, let's do a pilot. Let's do it in a small market. Let's not mess with our main edition, main market. Versus, oh, this can't be done. Our guidelines don't approve of this, or we are a very stodgy publication. Our core audience might be miffed in case the masthead is given out, So the open mind is cuts both ways. We got to have an open mind in terms of planning out different things, and the newspapers have to have an open mind in terms of what is possible versus what is not, in terms of formats, in terms of special editions, etc. The third one is an attitude, the right one, of course, and that's about saying the brand's problem and the Venn diagram, the shaded area where there's a win-win for everybody, and saying, okay, let's take a flutter. The fourth one is information. What are the things within your group or within some of your other clients in terms of innovative solutions that you can share with us, which we can then pressurize our clients to try out. If that happens, then we'll have much more. The fourth one is partnership, the spirit of being. See, it's the burden of the innovator to try and do something for the first time. If it's already happened before, then it's just a question of execution. Innovation is inherently a left brain, right brain activity. And that partnership requires a bit of desire as well as a bit of go-getting kind of a thing. So the attitude and the partnership ability, as I was just saying, the triumvirate between the brand, the media owner and the agency, this is that kind of secret sauce that will make innovations work. There is definite synergy. Can we look at more than just one particular newspaper? Can we leverage the entire group? Most of the media houses in India, most of the print houses in India have more than one property. So is there a synergy that we can exploit within print, between print and radio, between print and other media? What are the, bringing that leverage to the table suddenly exponentially increases the chances of that innovation being bought versus just being discussed. And the last one is in terms of news value. What are the other earned media possibilities that we can have? Can it create a buzz? Can it become a love mark on its own? Can it have a life of its own? So therefore, now, in fact, if we were to look at this, so what we are really looking from all of you as So we have to get our house together, we have to work better, but what we'd also like to look at is a kind of a passion. It is a treadmill, like Alice in Wonderland, you have to run faster and faster to stay at the same place. The passion makes it come alive, and saying that these are the kinds of things that we'd love to try. What's your take on it? Did you discuss it? What are the things that we need to do in order to bring it to the table? And I'm sure once we start doing a lot of this, then perhaps next year, myself or anybody else could be coming in with more than a dozen gold-worthy entries for you next time. So I'd like to leave you all with an interesting quotation from Carl Buchner, which was, "I may forget what you said, but I will never forget how you made me feel." So it's really that innovations have to work towards that intersect of right brain, left brain, and make magic happen. So that's all. I rest my case. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience.